Sony, goddamn motherfucking Sony. Hey guys, we need to have a little talk about Sony and what they're doing with Fortnite. Now, I'm sure you all know what Fortnite is, right? It's a period of 14 days, 2 weeks. Um, it's a term that has long been forgotten. No, I'm talking about the game, not what the actual word Fortnite means. I'm talking about the game Fortnite. You know, that game that's spreading like the theoretical cancer in my liver. I don't actually have cancer, by the way. That was just a joke to explain how quickly that game. It's a very popular game, okay? That being said, we need to talk about Sony because they're doing some questionable, at best, things with Fortnite. Now, full disclosure, I'm not taking any sides here, okay? I'm sure Sony has some reasons for doing the things that they are doing. It's just from an outside perspective, without knowing the things that Sony knows, the reasoning behind their decisions. This is just my outsider's perspective, right? I want to keep a very clear, concise thing. I'm not picking sides. There's always been a feud between, oh, Sony's better, no, Microsoft with the Xbox, no, Nintendo. It's clear where my loyalty lies, It's pretty clear where my loyalty lies, but no, that being said, we need to talk about Sony because for those of y'all, first of all, I just want to say that if you don't play Fortnite, if you're one of the few, the chosen few, not the Marines, but if you don't play Fortnite, you might actually still want to stick around because this could potentially affect more than just Fortnite players. Okay? Like, this could potentially be a really big thing. If Sony is allowed to continue doing what they're doing. So let me explain what they're doing. So Fortnite is a very popular game. If you haven't heard of it yet, you're deaf. You're dumb, deaf, and blind if you haven't heard of it yet. It's a very popular game. And first of all, sorry if I offended anyone. That was just a joke. But it's a very popular game. And it supports a feature called crossplay. Now, if you don't know what crossplay is, simply put, it's basically like this. If I'm playing Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, which it just released a couple days ago, and someone else is playing it on the Xbox, for example, we can still play with each other regardless of what platform we are playing on. So, PC, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and what is supposed to be PlayStation. So, there's supposed to be crossplay between all those platforms. Because the game is supposed to, one of their big features is crossplay, which is a fantastic thing that gamers have been begging for God knows how long, and it's finally right on the razor's edge where we're starting to see games actually support this very important feature. Now, that being said, Sony has decided if you made an Epic Games account, which I just want to clear up, Epic Games is the developers behind Fortnite. If you made an Epic Games account on PS4, you cannot, currently, as of recording this, log into that account on any other platform. Okay? Now, why is that a problem? Let me think. The game features crossplay. If I can't use it on other platforms, then it's not supporting crossplay, which is the main feature of the game. Now, I want to say I don't know Sony's reasoning behind this. Maybe it's a legal issue thing. Maybe they have legitimate reasons for doing this. I want to try to stay, open-minded, both sides of the story. There's always another side of the story that we don't see. And I want to try to stay open-minded, because maybe there is a legitimate reason for why they're doing that. One that we don't know about. But if there is, Sony, we're all ears. Please tell us. Your stocks are fucking dropping. They've gone down by, I think the last report said like 1.38% or something like that. Like, that's bad, Sony. You need to do some fucking PR control, right? You need to get your PR manager out here. He's probably having a fucking heart attack in the break room over this shit. But anyway, he needs to get out of the fucking break room and take care of this bullshit. Anyway, that being said, give him CPR, throw him out the break room, take care of this shit. Because if you have a legitimate reason for doing this, please let us know. Let the community know. So that you don't get all of these people who are being like, oh, Sony, fucking Sony, being all fucking selfish and, just tell us. If you have a legitimate reason, tell us, okay? That's all I'm saying. That being said, I get it. In some capacity, I get it. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, even Steam and other PC platforms to some extent. They're your competitors, Sony. I get that. And in a competitive mindset, it's not unusual to feel resentment towards your competitors, especially when they're doing well. And that's okay. You can have that resentment. That's fine. But you gotta be, keeping the sports analogy here, you gotta be sportsman about it. You gotta be a good sport, right? Doing this, holding these accounts hostage, and I'm not using that term lightly. You are literally holding these accounts hostage. If your only reason for doing that is because of a petty quarrel with your competitors, then maybe Fortnite shouldn't even be on the PlayStation. Because if you are going to have a third-party game on your hardware, you should support the features of that third-party game. Otherwise, what's the point of having it? Now, I don't believe Fortnite just out of nowhere showed up on the PlayStation 4 without anybody at Sony knowing about it. No, somebody at Sony somebody high up at Sony for that matter. It's not like the janitor saw Fortnite and was like, hey, put that on. Somebody high up and the Sony ladder saw Fortnite or got some sort of communication with Epic Games, and they said, you know what? Yeah, put it on our hardware. That's fine. Green light, put it on there. When you do that, Sony, there is a mutual understanding between the developer and the hardware provider that you are going to support the game, the features of that game, and the overall content of that game on your hardware. So, either you didn't know that Fortnite supports crossplay, which I feel like if you didn't know that, you should probably do more research on what you put on your hardware. But either you didn't know, or you did, and are, for whatever reason, going against the developer's wishes. Which, that's not okay. Right? That's, in no in no way is that okay. Because these third-party developers... let me give you an example of why third-party developers are so important to the longevity of any console, not just PlayStation, any console. I'll give you two words to instantly explain why third-party support is so goddamn important to the longevity, the lifespan of a console. Wii U. It had virtually no third-party support. There were a few in there, but for the most part, it was all first-party. And that thing fucking crashed and burned. Okay? Sony. Whether you realize it or not, you have an obligation to your third-party developers who support your platform, who do so much for you to support the longevity of your hardware so you can make that sick money, you have an obligation to do right by those people. And by doing this to the developers over at Epic Games, you are ignoring that obligation. Like I said, maybe Sony has a legitimate reason for doing this that we don't know about, in which case they should tell us about it so we can have a better understanding as to why they're making these decisions. But based on everything that we know of, that the public know of right now, the only reason that we can find is that they are, as the gamers would say, salty over the success of the Nintendo Fortnite scene, right? Or just Nintendo in general. Nintendo's had a really damn good, 2017, 2018 thus far. And I know, I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but that doesn't mean that this video is completely biased, okay? That this is a completely unbiased opinion, because even though I'm a Nintendo fanboy, I am a very open-minded person, and I wasn't always a Nintendo fanboy. I started out, playing on the PS1, funny enough. It wasn't my PS1, it was my sister's. My first console was the N64 because I saw a neighbor that had one and they were playing Mario and I was like, that looks cool, I want to do that. But the first console I played on for like a year or more was the PS1. That was kind of my introduction to video games. And Crash Bandicoot was a huge part of that, which is why I'm excited for Insane Trilogy on Switch. But so I'm not biased here, and I want to make that very clear. Even though my loyalty lies with Nintendo, I'm not gonna cut Nintendo any slack for their shortcomings either. I pointed out the Wii U earlier in this video, and how that was a, epic catastrophe. So I'm trying to remain as unbiased as possible, and what it comes down to is, unless there is a legitimate reason that we don't know about, Sony is not doing right. They are not following their obligation to do right by their third-party developers. Now, I want to get into why, if you don't play Fortnite, why you should even care about this. Because I said earlier in the video that, even if you don't play Fortnite, you still should probably care about what's going on. Because I'm not a hardcore Fortnite player either, right? I've played a couple rounds. I'll probably play a couple more, to be honest, because it's really good for streaming, it makes good streaming content, but, I'm not heavy into the game, right? But I can see the appeal. I can see the appeal of the game. But for those who aren't playing Fortnite, for those who aren't locked in their mother's basement 24/7 playing Fortnite, why should you care about this? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because this could potentially, if PlayStation is allowed to continue doing what they're doing with this, it could completely undermine the cross-play infrastructure. Because then, somebody else, let's say Xbox, for example, it's like, okay, you're not going to allow cross-play with us? Fine, we're not going to cross-play with you anymore, And then this beautiful thing, cross-play, will slowly, like a flower, it's slowly blooming right now, but it's in a fragile state. It's in a state where it hasn't become a standard, right? So with Sony doing this, it could potentially cause that beautiful flower to wither and die. So if even if you don't play Fortnite, if you are a supporter of crossplay compatibility, which if you're a gamer, if you're a hardcore gamer, you definitely should be a supporter of that, then this could potentially undermine the entire crossplay infrastructure to the point that we don't have crossplay anymore. This could be dangerous for the future of crossplay and for the future of third-party developers as well, because, if Sony is allowed to do this, what does that say for the third-party, development scene? That maybe third-party developers are going to be like, okay, well, we don't want to put your games on your platform if you're going to restrict our features because of some petty quarrel with your competitors, right? Or whatever the reason may be at the time. This is dangerous for crossplay, it's dangerous for the third-party development scene, and it's dangerous for Sony. Alright? And I don't think either they don't realize how bad this could potentially be for them, or they don't care. Either way, it is what it is. Alright, and, maybe there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe somebody at Sony will see all the commotion that they have caused, and they will make the proper steps to fix this, right? Because from a certain standpoint, I can understand to a certain degree why they would do something like this. To a certain degree, I can understand it. But just because I can understand it to a certain degree doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it the right thing to do. They have an obligation to their third-party developers, which have built not only their console, but basically every platform, lives and breathes off of third-party. Sure, Sony has a couple first-party exclusives, but as we've seen with Crash Bandicoot and literally dozens of others, those exclusives don't seem to stay exclusive. So, Sony, you really want to treat your third-party developers nicely, okay? And right now you're not playing nice. So, I'm going to end with that. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know what you guys think of the whole... Is Sony wrong for doing this? Let me know what you guys think. You've seen where I stand on the matter. But is Sony wrong for doing this? And should they fix this problem? Or is this a problem to begin with? Let me know how you guys see the situation. But with that being said, If it does come to light that they do, you know, rectify this problem, then I'll do a follow-up video, and I'm not gonna apologize. Okay, I'm not gonna apologize because first of all, I haven't really said anything bad about them. I've just been stating the truth. I feel like I've kept a very open-minded, non-biased, you know, argument here. So I'm not gonna apologize if they fix this problem, if they actually come out and be like, yeah, we were wrong, we're gonna let the accounts go, you can use them however you want. I'm not gonna apologize, but I will do a follow-up video if they do it, stating that, hey, Sony actually listened and they're actually trying to do better, right? If they do it. So I'm not gonna apologize. You're not getting an apology, Sony. That was almost an apology. You know what? I'm sorry that you're not getting an apology. There you go. There you go. But that's kind of like a double entendre there. Not a double entendre, but like a oxymoron. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know, your opinions on this matter. And that's about it. So thank all you guys for watching. I'll try to cover this as we get more information about it. And yeah, that's about it. So thank all you guys for watching, and I'll see all you guys next time. Goodbye, guys.